beauty is how the transcendental or the spiritual is most made manifest in this world. I'm certainly not the first person to say it. I won't be the last. And people, define and conceive of beauty in different ways, which we can get to in a moment. But my father has this slightly annoying but adorable habit of summarizing books for me that he's reading as he's going, which is fantastic if it's a book I'm sort of interested in but don't want to actually commit to reading. But, sometimes it's like, I don't need the book report. He was reading a biography of Willa Cather about a year or two ago, and he sent me this quote because it reminded him, I guess, of me. And I do think it's a nice, pithy capitulation of a lot of what I think, which is, there is no God but one God, and art is his revealer. That's my creed, and I'll follow it to the end, to a hotter place than Pittsburgh if need be. I guess she was based in Pittsburgh, I don't really remember. But yeah, this idea that and I've discussed this with many meditators as well as artists who might have other spiritual practices or backgrounds, that, this is why we feel deeply, equally committed to artistic practice, because it can have just as deep and profound an impact on consciousness as the actual consciousness gym of meditating or practicing asana or kriya or whatever it might be. Because it really is just God, the transcendent, in a physical form that we can hold on to, smell, taste, see, interact with. And that's why in the Vedic purview, when we discuss this development of higher states of consciousness, in that transitional phase of, quote, God consciousness between cosmic consciousness and awareness to full-blown unity, it's devotional. It's about devotion to, yes, the personality we see in nature, but really the beauty, the nuance, the detail we see in everything. But it's not just seeing, we hear, we taste, we touch, etc. And so many different thinkers and people that I very much admire have, commented in or around this in different ways. The great kind of interdisciplinarian architect, designer, great beauty herself, Neri Oxman, has described beauty as agency. And of course, this quote has been attributed to many people, but I think it originally comes from Dostoevsky, or a version of it, which is that, beauty will save the world. And Buckminster Fuller actually said that, and I roughly quote, "I know something is wrong if it isn't beautiful." And it's not just beauty as in this idealized form, but beauty can be, or is, the physical expression of natural law. When something, like when you get those vegetables that are kind of the outcast ones, something in the expression of the DNA or whatever went a little off, or the conditions of its growing weren't ideal, so that it became, dwarfed, or a weird color, or this or that. And it can still taste great or be great, or maybe even better in certain cases. But some organizing principle that comes from that transcendent organizing place of, everything in manifest reality got a little off. I think it's wide, regardless of whatever sense is strongest in you. For some people, it's clearly visual. And so they are, very drawn to visual beauty, whether that be in a photograph or in a person or in the textiles someone's wearing or the interior design of a space. And other people are more tactile, so, they are, very in touch with how someone's moving, with how energy is moving in them, the energy between bodies, or how a particular piece of furniture or part of nature feels in their body. And obviously other people are aural. And then smell and taste, unless you are a professional chef or someone in that world, tend to be, for most of us today, a little bit less online. But you could be someone who goes around the world, thinking about everything in terms of how it tastes or it smells. And eventually, if we're lucky, they all start to, align, and the confluence of them is not only intuition, but is this synesthetic experience where we're sort of communing with the fundamental vibration of something through all the different senses at the same time. We're not only knowing something visually, we're not only knowing it orally or whatever it might be.